Hey guys, it's Commissioner Blum doing my first video recap.
6 seasons, 74 recap videos, 834 YouTube views, and only one Commissioner Blum. Over the years, the world watched hilarious moments and chugs from the league, but it was Commissioner Blum's only wish to instill joy and laughter on the It Ain't My Fault You Lost League members, like one of his many personalities, Santa Blum. Result? Huge success. 2020 was the pinnacle year for recaps and chugs, so we sat down with Commissioner Blum to get his thoughts on the year and the upcoming final. This is The Last Dance.
Jason, dropping like the third best tight end in the fucking game for a defense that you're going to start 1 week. You're an idiot, learn how to play fantasy football.
It was from that point on that Jason dedicated every waking hour between August and December to fantasy football. He proceeded to play his heart out with 5 straight years of making the It Ain't My Fault You Lost playoffs, chopping down any team in his path. I hate that I lost to Jason. Overall, hell of a season for Jason Lorenz. I will be the first to congratulate you. You beat me. That's all I can really say. But I guess he deserves it at this point. You know, we make this running joke that every year Jason always gets in third place. But what's funny is that he actually has only gotten third place once in his entire career. I think he's gotten like 6th place, then 4th place, then 3rd place in 2017, and then 5th place in 2016. So he's actually going to be finishing higher than anyone else expected. His whole thing is not knowing. You know, he always is asking, like, what's my Yahoo login? How do I select keepers? Who is each team? Who's Earl? Every year I have to go over all the rules with him. He just read the Constitution like a day ago. This year, especially with COVID, he didn't know what it means to declare a player. And he's even asked me who he was playing, who he should start. So Jason is definitely a character here in the It Ain't My Fault You Lost Fantasy Football League.
Jason, my favorite person.
I'd like to invite all you guys to come out for the Freedom League. If you can come up with it, it's allowed.
I remember a conversation from August 29th. We were talking about keepers because he was getting, I wouldn't say pestered, but he was getting some noise from, and he mentioned Ilya and Hansen saying that his team is going to be garbage, just like his name, and that he's totally screwed this year. I remember this specifically because he then followed up with asking me who he should keep. And so I gave him sort of the rundown. You know, I want to be partial, so I gave him the rundown and said, look, Galladay, he was a top 10 receiver in 2019. Gurley is now in a better offensive system. They're going to be relying on him because Freeman's gone. So I was like, you know, take those 2 guys and see what happens. Now, no one could have expected the insane amount of injuries this year, you know, especially for him. Galladay has played 4 out of 16 games, so he's basically done nothing for Jason. He didn't have any better options at keeper. He could have kept Hunter Henry. I think he still picked him up in the draft. But look at him, you know, he drafted Adams. He got some fortunate matchups. I think one of the brightest spots for Jason's season this year, and definitely a show of why he's having some good luck, is definitely Henry. You know, I love seeing all these videos that he's posting, whether it's him holding Henry and trying to chug a beer. All the videos of Henry growing up, it's like he's growing up with the It Ain't My Fault You Lost League. But he's definitely brought a bright spot to this unfortunate year. Especially for Team Garbage Man. No one can deny it. No one can deny that Chris Hansen is by far the best team manager in It Ain't My Fault You Lost history. He's won over $1,100 in all his years. He just took down the #1 seed, who had the #1 quarterback, the #1 wide receiver, and the #1 and #2 running backs in fantasy football in 2020. I mean, he's always in the mix. In 2016, he won. In 2017, he won. In 2018, he got 3rd place. He was pretty cocky that whole year, I'd have to say, because he kept changing his team name to all these things that were like three-peat mentions and trios and stuff. And it just got annoying after a while, especially for me to have to recap that stuff. But I think I can speak for the league in general when I said it was a little bit cocky on his behalf. But then in 2019, he's got 2nd place, and now he's going to get another 1st or 2nd place finish under his belt. You know, one thing that Hansen does that nobody else does in this league is he puts a lot of effort into his team names every season. I mean, he pays tribute to something in the zeitgeist of the NFL, which I really appreciate as I come up with all of these recaps, and I try to keep them topical and things, but everything from JPP finger bang, Manziel's bar tabs, Cap's last stand. You know, obviously Colin Kaepernick took a knee that year, and it was his last stand in the NFL. AB's circumcision, and this year, of course, D-Jax's history lesson, where Deshaun Jackson made some pretty rude comments to the Jewish community in terms of not understanding that the Holocaust actually happened. This matchup is too close to call right now. On projections, it's 51-49, so that's what I love to see in a finals. On one hand, you have Hansen, who's won 3 straight games, and he's en route to his 4th final in 5 years. On the other hand, you have Jason, who lost 3 straight games, then beat Blum in order to get to the finals. Statistically speaking, Hansen's probably had his worst year of fantasy football this year. Meanwhile, Jason has had his best year. It really comes down to the matchups this week. You know, you got Josh Allen versus Kyler Murray. Very close to projections there. I do love the fact that this matchup will possibly come down to Monday Night Football, where Josh Allen is playing. At wide receivers, it's, you know, even split, I think, with Adams and Thielen on Jason's side and Ridley and Jefferson on Hansen's side. Running backs definitely goes to Hansen. Jason has been playing with backup running backs who just got an opportunity to be in a position where they can start. Tight end, Jason always wins in the tight end spot. And then the flex spot, you know, Jason's picked up guys who have been streaking. T.Y. Hilton, Nelson Aguilar, they can get it done. Whereas Hansen has some mainstays this year like Chris Godwin and Deontay Johnson. Like I said, very close.
And you're gonna fucking come out and play. And you're gonna fucking play like a champion.
I can't see playing like a champion.
You're gonna give your fucking all.
I'm gonna show up.
You're gonna come out and you're gonna give me your fucking heart and soul.